Okay guys, welcome back. So I just spent like 5 minutes going over the rock or the model again, just very roughly. And this is what it looks currently, like something weird, really. It's not really looking like a rock at this point, and that's perfectly okay. So my daughter, she actually asked me one time, she was watching me doing this. She said, "Why are you making a piece of meat?" So you need to make it a real color. So actually, let me just switch this to some kind of gray color at least. Um, so maybe, I don't know, I can change the color out here. To me, it doesn't really matter. People say, by the way, that you should generally use the matte cap gray because that's the best material for reading the topology of your model. So I'm gonna do that also. Okay, so anyway, one other tool I want, two other tools methods I wanna mention is the move tool. The first one is the move tool. So let's say you are thinking this is okay, but I wanted this part here to be maybe a little bit more something. Then I would actually sometimes use the move tool, or maybe this part here, just move it out a little bit and kind of drag it out. And maybe it's gonna create some kind of curved faces or so, but it's gonna be okay, I guess. But generally I actually do this before I do this kind of detailing, this level of detailing, because it does create these, bendy areas. But it's good for fine tuning sometimes if you get something which looks really weird. You can do that. And the other tool I also find useful sometimes if I make something, I look at it, I think, okay, this is way too simple. I want something a little bit more something. Then I actually had good results by using the move tool. So this requires you to be have no subdivision levels. So right now I don't have any subdivisions. Then you can press the move tool, and then this weird gizmo pops up, and it's really confusing to begin with. But if you just think about it, like if you want to move something, you need to drag out from somewhere, and then in order to move it, actually, you just need to click on in the white area here for this one, and you can move it around. This squishes this, and the other one kind of caps it, or moves everything to that point. And I haven't really used them for anything. Maybe this one for squishing things. Actually, this is pretty good. Okay, and see, you can squish it like that. But what I wanted to say is that you can actually, for example, hold down Control, and then instead of moving it, you can actually create a clone of this. So let's say we wanted to create something like this, and then we want to rotate it, and the same deal with the rotate. It's super confusing sometimes. I still find myself being super confused of what is going on with it. So bear with me for a moment while I just reposition this thingy here. So you can overlay this kind of embedded in itself, and you can, for example, do it again. Hold Control down and drag it out, and let's try and scale it. I think it's this one. No, it's this one. Okay, so if you want to continue scaling, you kind of have to do it in small increments like that. Obviously, you can, instead of clicking them, you should get used to these, but they're actually the same as they are in 3D Studio Max and a lot of other packages. So that's one good thing at least. So let's say we want this as our rocky mesh here instead. So right now it's actually 3 different, actually it's not. If we go out of control, drag, you can see now it's still, it's actually one single mesh, but it's actually I can't remember how I see through. How is it? See through things. Anyway, in order to get this to merged together, you need to read Dynamesh one more time and pay close attention to this area here. And we can see we have 1.4 million. So now it took it back to 700,000 because we have the low resolution. You might want to change this up actually. But you can see now it introduced some kind of stuff here because we only have so much resolution to work with, and now we have way more detail. So I would generally set this maybe to 1000 if I do this kind of thing and with this number of details here. So that's an easy way to get a different shape out of actually the same shape eventually, and then we can continue, maybe take some of the stuff out that we didn't want, something like this maybe, and continue working with this if we're happy with this. So it's a good way of creating, for example, a segment of a wall or something where you just create a number of smaller models and then combine them together in here. You can also obviously do this in another package, 3D Studio Max, and then re-import it again. But I think it's worth trying to get used to, and it's a good way of trying to get used to the transpose and rotate tools, because kind of forces you to see how they act when you use them. So I'm just trying to get rid of some of all the repetition I have here, because I can definitely tell this has been duplicated. And obviously you don't want it to be that visible that it was just duplicated. So it's getting pretty detailed at this point, and actually a little bit more than I would prefer at this point. So just wanted to mention that and take a quick look at it, see if I can have too much repetition going on. Okay, so let's say we can use this. So in the next video I will start to add some details and also talk about some of the preparations I would suggest you do before you start making rocks. So be seeing you in the next, and bye bye.